Hello viewers, this will be part 2, or maybe it's part 3 by now if you want to count the first part, I don't know. And this is another part of the Duracraft fan repair. We're going to do an electrical investigation here. Plugged it in last video and it did nothing. And we're getting no connectivity here whatsoever. So I can only imagine, and I guess it would make sense too, considering the condition this came to me in, that the motor has a bad thermal fuse. That's not the screw I want to even be undoing. So we may have to go in here and change out the fuse, in which case this is just becoming unreasonably complicated. And if the newer motors were as powerful, I would just swap them out, but I know they're not. Because I have a good motor right here, but it's a different one. So, just on the slight possibility that there's something wrong with the switch, let's pull the switch off and check it out here. Actually, we can leave it like that. So, theoretically, if we stick the probe in here, it's probably not going to fit, so I have to remove the switch as well. Actually, you know what I can do? I'll just pull this out entirely and we can test the motor itself, because we're probably going to have to get to that point anyways. And just for curiosity, let's check the switch here. Oh great, now the meter is stuck in there. So the switch checks out, which means it probably is the motor's fuse. Just to cover all bases, so let's check the cord. Get a resistance reading here, and we have nothing. Alright, well, we're going to have to open up the motor here. So I'm going to undo this thing. I had no expectation of this getting so complicated, though. Now that I look back at it, it makes perfect sense, because when I got this fan, the bearing was just deteriorated and the motor was just slopping around in there. The blade was, rather. So at some point this probably was turned on, you know, and if it sat like that with the motor locked or not even in where it's supposed to be, it probably just overheated. So I guess I should have seen this coming. So this is like taped. Now if the fuse is towards the surface, we can just replace it and everything will be fine. But if it's buried deep within the windings, I may not bother with it. At that point, it's going to be too much hassle. Alright, well the good news is the thermal fuse is right there. So if that's the issue, this is a relatively easy fix. And I even have the parts on hand too. So let's go ahead and give this thermal fuse a quick test here and see what our results are. So if this fuse is good, we'll have connectivity across here. And we don't. We get nothing. So, thermal fuse replacement it is. Now I just gotta find the thermal fuses. I just put them away the other day. And now I don't remember where I put them. I found the thermal fuses. Okay, the new fuse is in place. Let's make sure it's working. I always get nervous at the soldering iron being so close to it is going to cause it to fuse. Where's the power cord? Oh, here it is. So now let's just connect this real quick just for testing purposes. Make sure it runs. And as long as it checks out, we'll wrap the motor back up and then maybe then we'll be okay. I'm ready to finish. And we'll start with this winding. I don't know if this is low or high. We'll try this one and see what happens. And we do have to make sure that this doesn't touch anything, because if that shorts out, then we're going to have a bigger problem. Alright, let's see what happens here. It's running. Let's just try the other winding real quick and make sure that it's good as an entirety. That's working too. Alright, we are good to go. So I gotta jam that big fuse into this motor somehow. That's gonna be an interesting task. It was an interesting task with the last fan I put this fuse into as well. But we'll get it done. Here's how we're going to do it. I've changed the wiring so that both of these wires come out over here. I otherwise didn't know how to do it because this fuse is so big it doesn't really fit in here all that well. So it's going to be like this. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to work, and that's as far as I'm concerned. So we can close this back up now. And try to put that tape back on here for whatever it's worth. I don't know how well that's going to go. So I didn't use all the tape, but it's enough to cover it, and I think it's ready to go now. So let's try once again to reassemble this.